Εντάξει, δεν έχει on-off αυτό εδώ. Είναι στο on. Ναι, ναι. Ωραία είμαστε. Let's start after the lunch. Good afternoon again. This is the last panel. This is the last panel of the whole conference. And in this last one, and in this last one, we'll discuss about best practices in defense skill developments. We're eager to listen to these best practices because we have experience and we have heard from a lot of panelists about the existing gaps and the way ahead. So let's see if there are best practices and what practices are so that we can also apply it. Let me introduce the moderator, Mr. Sotirios Kokinos, behind me, who is the CEO of FEAC Engineering, which is a defense company. Mr. Georgios Giannopoulos, Deputy Director and Head of Unit, European Commission, Joint Research Center. Dr. Yanos Setenai, yes, Director of Matthias Corvinus College Learning Research Institute, Mr. Vasilios, Tyriakidis, yeah. Okay, who highlight industry-driven approaches to upscaling. Mr. Carlos Maio, who is founder and CR of the company named QSR in Portugal, who will discuss cross-border initiatives for skills development. And Mr. Professor Leonidas Gianchristos, who will explore, who is Director of Lab of Applied Thermodynamics, Aristotle University in Thessaloniki, who will explore integrated advanced technologies like virtual reality and artificial reality into defense training. So please welcome Mr. Sotirios Kokinos and our panelists.
So, good evening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. As we are now entering the last part of the conference, it's the last session, which consists of 3 panels. I have the honor and the pleasure to be the moderator of 5 distinguished speakers, all with proven experience in their fields of expertise. It is also great because the panel here represents what we mentioned several times yesterday, the 3 helix. So we have representatives from the business, from the industry, representatives from the academia, and representatives also from the governance. So I have some long paragraphs here with their experience. I will just name their names and the current position they hold in their entities, and then I will give the floor in order to present them, also with some cases from your entity. So, with us, we have today Mr. Georgios Giannopoulos, who is the Deputy Director and Head of Unit in the European Commission, and also the Deputy Director of the Space Security and Migration Directorate at the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. Dr. Yannis Seteni, who is the Director of MCC Institute of Learning Research. Mr. Vasilios Teriakidis, Chairman and Managing Director of one of the most successful Greek entities, BNT Composites. Of course, our Mr. Carlos Maio, founder and CEO of QSR, based in Portugal. And last but not least, Professor Leonidas Diachristos from the University of Aristotle, University of Thessaloniki, who is also the director of the Laboratory of Applied Thermodynamics. So let's start, Mr. Diachristos, with presenting yourself and also maybe a case from your laboratory.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here. And I followed the activities of the conference since yesterday, and I have to say it has been very interesting for me, and it has been an area that I knew very little about. Although in my laboratory we work on propulsion and powertrain systems, we work with engines, new fuels, we work with methanol, ammonia, hydrogen engines, we work with batteries and electrical powertrains. And I think we materialize the definition of dual use, because all of these systems in the civil field, they have the meaning of being green technologies that will, let's say, decrease the impacts of climate change. But in the military field, they can offer advanced characteristics for vehicles, vessels. They can be technologies that can be generated by local energy feedstocks. So in cases of difficulties, those could be energy sources that can power the field and the defense activities in general of the sector. So I have been very much interested in the area. I have met many people from the Greek industry that are also very interested in the area. And I'm looking forward to a discussion that might help in understanding better each other, and will help maybe to start lifting some of the obstacles in the collaboration between the three helixes. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Teriakidis.
Thank you very much. It is also a big honor for us that we are here. So who we are? We are in BNT. We develop, manufacture, and sell advanced composites. Also technologies about photonic sensors. It is something new. We collaborate with universities, Greek universities, and research centers in order to take knowledge, and we try to transfer all this knowledge to our young engineers and young scientists. We participate in cross-border projects such as EDF and Horizon 2020, which combine expertise from various fields to advance defense technologies. Also, we have started supporting the defense industry by delivering innovative products and solutions. Through all these actions, BNT emphasizes the importance of upskilling to achieve strategic autonomy in the European defense sector.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Teriakidis. Please, Mr. Maio.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. QSR is an HR consultancy company just focused on aerospace and defense and energy, and a little bit in the maritime as well. What we do is we built an innovation center that tries to bring the social sciences to work together with technological sciences and to predict the human, the organizational, and the societal consequences of technological disruption. So we are in this sector that is very disruptive technologically, So we have our innovation center that brings the Social Science Academy to work with these sectors. By that, we are, with that innovation and with this knowledge, we are leaders of some skills working group as the European Aerospace Cluster, as the Portuguese Aerospace and Energy Cluster. We work a lot, we are active members as well of the Pact for Skills. But mainly, as a consultancy company, we are a company of data. And that's why we are developing a spin-off about data analytics and data science for skills in defense, in aerospace and energy.
I really appreciate the heroism of the colleagues who stayed after lunch, and I want to thank for it. And as a short introduction, I'm representing a relatively new academic institutions. We are a tertiary educational institution, but not a university. We collect the best students of the best Hungarian universities, and we provide them both academic and leadership education. To be honest, it's an elite institution, and we try to educate the future leaders, the young leaders of the Hungarian society in the 21st century. We don't have any political affiliation. But apart from the professional values, we also put emphasis on modern patriotism, which is serving the community and serving country and also serving Europe. And finally, this kind of hybrid institution, the reason why it was established is very simple. We have strong traditional universities who provide very good professional education, but they are less good in these soft areas like social responsibility, leadership skills, and so on.
Thank you. Mr. Yanopoulos.
Good afternoon also from my side, and many thanks to those who chose to be in this panel instead of taking a walk outside in this beautiful afternoon. I represent the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. We are a Directorate-General like DG DEFIS, for example, for which you have heard yesterday certain things. We are a particular research organization, given the fact that we do not do research like a typical university or a research institution, but we are doing research and science advice for policy. So practically all directives and all regulations, the big majority of regulations and directives that are issued by the European Commission or communications, staff working documents, all these somehow they have some link with the JRC because we are doing the research and we provide the knowledge and the technical advice so that we can have sound and robust policies by the European Commission. So in this framework, we are doing a lot in the area of security. My directorate, the name of my directorate is Societal Resilience and Security. So we are working on a wide range of topics that touch upon societal resilience and security, and of course this has links with the defense sector. In particular in my unit we are working a lot on satellite communications, space applications, and space, civil and defense are things that they are very much interlinked. You may all have seen the strategies that came out from the European Commission the last years, in particular the synergies between the space, civil and defense domain. So by definition, we are touching upon issues related to defense, although I think that there is a lot of work in the area of defense still needs to be decided in the European Commission. It's practically a new topic for us. But I suppose that it will be more and more important in the next years. I think that that's pretty clear and obvious.
Okay. So thank you all. As our session is called Best Practices in Defense Skills Development, I would like to, first of all, we have decided to have a more interactive discussion here. So even if you want to interact with us with a question, please feel free to ask. From one side, we have the university and the academia. On the other side, we have industry. we have also all the policy that comes from the European Commission and all the tools that are provided, like the EDF, the funded tools. But the problem is that there is still, if I may say, defense is still a forbidden word. It is not easy, especially in the academia community, in the universities, to mention within universities that a professor, for example, would like to participate in a defense project. On the other side, as everyone knows, academia plays a crucial role in order to educate the new students, the new engineers who will be the next leaders in the companies. So how do you tackle, Mr. Diakristos, with this problem?
Yes, thank you very much. Of course, it's exactly as you say, especially Greek universities. There is a tradition of movements of peace, freedom, and all of that being developed. And of course, I think what we are discussing here are really tools for peace. So in reality, what we are discussing is how we can maintain what basically university and university students are looking for. Only that, you know, there are stereotypes which are very difficult to overcome. But I have an example that I would like to share with you, and people from Thessaloniki know. Military doctors are trained in a civil university, like the one that we have, and actually their school is really adjacent to the campus. And for the many years that the school is there, there was not a single incident of any kind of violence or protesting or anything that had to do with students against, let's say, the military doctors. They train in the same schools, in the same clinics, in the same laboratories, people with uniforms and people with civil clothing. So I find it as a very good example. I mean, it doesn't only go to doctors, it also goes to other scientists and engineers, that it is the same, but doctors is the big majority. So how was it made possible? And how can we learn from this example that with proper, as you said, branding and proper argumentation, there could be a very peaceful coexistence of what we call dual-use technologies. I think we should go by example. And the first thing that I would do, if I would be from the industry, would be to, from my side, try to kick out the stereotype, say that in the universities there are people that can help, there are students that will be my future collaborators, and I would try with the university administration or with individual professors to approach this environment, present my case without fear, and see how things will go and how things will develop. But having a fear somewhere in the atmosphere that, you know, it's going to be chaotic there, we go nowhere. I mean, there are people in the university and people in the company that they work together, so we should go to the direct path, bring them together, and if there are problems, we are all here to resolve them. That's what I think.
So, Mr. Triakidis, you are on the other side. You are the one that take the students in order to make them engineers and skilled students in order to be able to provide their knowledge, in order to provide something highly innovative and with challenges from the technology, from the defense technology. So how do you collaborate with universities? How are you able to collaborate with universities?
Yes, first of all, we also in our company, we are speaking about dual use and dual applications. But I think this is something that we pass. I think last year SEKPY made a very good join with universities. So it's something that we pass. I feel in the next years it will be passed. We need to develop skills in the defense industry, and we need technological innovation and operational excellence. What I mean by that, we have to continuous learning and upskilling in engineering, in AI, logistics maybe, and geopolitics. Also, leadership development, leadership training, prepare leaders, our engineers or our scientists who will work in the defense sector, for high decisions, crisis management, strategic planning, and also to be able to navigate ethical dilemmas. I feel that the only way is to cooperate with academia. Industry and academia have just one role, partnership, nothing more.
Nice. Mr. Mayo, something to comment on that?
Yeah. When I'm invited to speak about the link between academy and industry, I ask as well and about the link between industry and academy, because it's different. Usually, this tone in the room, it's launched to the academy, that they are close to working with industry, and I really disagree on that. I see more initiatives, and I'm on the side of industry, but I see more initiatives from the academy to go, as Professor Leonidas said, to go to present their case to the industry, but I don't see too much initiatives from industry to bring their availability for internships, their needs for knowledge from universities. So I don't see. I think that the link between industry and the academy, it's missing. And why is that? Because the industry doesn't have data, doesn't have information, and it has knowledge, but it doesn't have the knowledge well organized to bring and to come to university to say, okay, I need this from you. And this is a really issue. Mr. Aluminadis Thomas, sorry if I spell it in the wrong way, said there's a problem with SMEs, because SMEs doesn't have money, they just work for the daily basis, so they don't have time to work on this and to gather this information. As well, the big enterprise don't do this. They do it, but not maybe in the proper way. So we have initiatives from academy to the industry. Yes, we have to take more and to have more, but we miss much more initiatives from industry to the academy. That's why initiatives like Pact for Skills are important, to gather this information and to bring to the academy.
I would have two advices. One, the first I already told yesterday, that don't start at the universities. Start in secondary education. In the old Soviet model, they started in primary school. I wouldn't go so far. But start secondary. We initiated in Hungary a program, light defense projects for vocational schools with little money. Boys love it. And you can select the promising people, and they can enter higher education. That is one thing. The second is within universities. Most European Union member states has a performance-related funding, which is very good. So if we change the KPIs in the ministries, and they should publish less papers, academic papers, which are not read by anyone, anyway. And their money is, at least partially, would depend on cooperation with the defense sector. Why not? Then they would be more open for that, of course. The problem is that there are some member states where the funding is the old one, and it is not depending on performance and these kind of indicators. Probably it can be changed. That is within the campus. And the third thing is that I would create some, like this octopus-type hybrid learning places, just like my MCC, where I would collect the most talented university students who had the so-called spark. I cannot describe it better, the spark. And I would finance or support them financially too, with stipends from the defense sector. And they can have projects closely related to real-life military or defense problems or issues, like challenges. I think this is the most advanced way.
Mr. Yiannopoulos, on behalf of EU, who's the policy maker.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, to Mr. Yiannopoulos. Yes.
Actually, I don't know if I can provide some best practices, but I think that at the end of the day, the answer that we need to, the question that we need to answer is how we can make sure that more and more talented people can follow the defense path, if you want, the defense career. And I see many challenges there rather than answers, as I said. First of all, why somebody should do that? What is the payback of following a career in the defense sector? That's one thing. I think that can be somehow be resolved in a way that if this ecosystem grows, there are more opportunities, there are more career perspectives, then we have one good argument there. Now, the other is more about rebranding of the defense sector, and I think that this is something that was mentioned already several times today. Whenever we talk about defense, the first image that comes to our mind most probably is bombs, cells, and things like that. But it's not at all like that. And I would like to bring the example of the recently published NINISTO report, which makes reference to civil preparedness and defense. And there it follows this very comprehensive approach of civil preparedness involving many different domains and sectors in the society, that need to be prepared so that we have a comprehensive defense. It's not just weapons or capabilities, but it's whole of society, whole of governance approach. By using this kind of narrative and rebranding defense, then you have more probabilities, most probably, to get new talent into the defense ecosystem. It might not be immediately in a high-tech defense company, but something related to defense. And then we will also have the first, let's say, entry into this world. And from there, also with mobility that we discussed before, you can start moving talent also to more technology-related areas. I think that this is something that we need to work on, the rebranding, because I know it from my experience in the European Commission. If tomorrow morning we ask our colleagues to work on defense projects, I'm pretty sure that some of them will have some, will be reluctant. Not everyone, but some of them would be reluctant to follow this path. So we definitely need the rebranding. The dual use element is very useful to do this kind of rebranding, because at the end of the day, you need to explain to anyone who works in the technology that the technology that you develop today in the civil domain most probably will find its way in a military application down the road. It's exactly the opposite that was happening in the past, where we had military projects being developed in secrecy and nobody knew about, and there was a civil domain, and these two things were quite separated. But nowadays, there is a lot of interfacing between the two. We have a lot of military applications that they use components of the self, and these are technologies that have been developed in the civil domain. So I think that this kind of narrative and rebranding could bring more and more talent, and you know, this creates then the snowball effect. More people joining, more people will be attracted to join, because they will see that there is, I mean, it's different than what they thought, the perception will be different, and also that they will see that there is a very promising career path in front of them.
Great. So it is true that even if I take as an example myself, a few years ago as a young engineer or even as a young business owner, we really were very hesitated if we should get involved into the defense sector or not. There are the tools. We have the funding tools, we have the policy from the EU. Maybe, of course, there are a lot to be done. But I think that bringing defense closer to the society, maybe with, if we can call it rebranding the defense sector by saying dual use, it's much more easier also to make the young students, the young engineers who will be the next generation of the leaders in the companies to come closer and take advantage of all those opportunities in order to get involved in the defense sector. Mr. Diachristos, do you think that the collaboration or between academia and industry has much more to bring on the society, the benefits that all of us would receive from this collaboration?
I mean, universities were not built just for fun. Especially engineering schools around the world have been built to serve the industry. So without the industry, engineering schools have no reason to exist. Even from the civil world, I would say that the best universities in the world are the ones that are next to very good companies, you know, universities in Stuttgart, in Munich, in Paris, in London, I mean, where you have real need for technology and development. This is where you also train the best students. So it's not by chance that this happens. I mean, in Greece, the universities are a means of raising, you know, the rent of houses in different cities. They're not there to serve the industry. So obviously the message is that we go back where we started and we support the universities, especially in the engineering schools where I come from, also, you know, the physics department, chemistry departments, to support the industry. This is why we have them. So for me, it's not even a question, you know, it's a definition, what we have. And I would like to repeat what both Carlos and Janos said, that the way that this works is not that the university professor goes to the industry and says, look, I developed that, are you interested? I mean, I'm not a salesman. I have, and my colleagues have certain knowledge that if an industry comes and asks, can you solve this problem? Maybe I have a solution, maybe not. And there comes the issue of trust, that the industry believes that the university professors are people that talk a lot and do nothing. And if you have nothing else to do in your life, then you become a university professor. This is the general, you know, feeling in the industry. Well, it could be the case in some cases, but there are also these other university professors that they really try to develop something for the society, for the industry, and for improving our world. So that's why I say, wherever we go, we make efforts, we find people we can work together, we find people we cannot work together, but it doesn't mean that the first time that, you know, we meet someone that we cannot work together, this characterizes the whole system, and that's the end of the road and we cannot go further. So this does not go only to the defense industry, but I raise my voice because now we are with the defense industry. They should be brave, they should prepare teams, they should prepare their questions, they should look into people that deal with these issues. I just a little bit disagree with Janos that no one reads the papers. Well, you have to start reading the papers to understand what people can deliver if you want to meet them. Otherwise, you don't know who is around in the special field that you want. Vasilis mentioned before they are in the photonics business. Who does photonics in Greece, for example, or abroad? They have to read some papers to understand what is going on. So that's the way to go. And then make contacts and see what comes out of that. That's, I think, very straightforward and simple how things work.
Mr. Mayo or Mr. Janos, something to mention on that regarding...
Let me give maybe an example of how we are working together with the Academy. I have a PhD in my company. So I made a contract with the Portuguese state. I'm paying 20% of the salary of that person. The Portuguese government is paying the rest. The PhD is trying to identify data in the industry to bring to the Academy. What this PhD is doing. Raising the competence and profiles of the recovery and resilience programs of aerospace and space in Portugal to identify what kind of profiles and competence do you need to deliver what you compromised to, and what is the goal. Universities has to have short-term courses. They have to be integrated in long life learning process within the companies. But they don't know, but what kind of competence should we develop? What kind of courses should we deliver to the market? They don't know. But that is industry that has to tell them what kind of courses, what kind of competence do you have to develop. And what we're doing is, okay, we are gathering this data to say, okay, this is the real needs of the market that we have in aerospace and space sector. Hopefully, we will do it in defense sector as well in next year. We will start next year. So this is what we have to give, data, information to the universities develops knowledge. I would like to talk a little bit about the other thing that is quantity and quality problem, but I reserve for another.
Yeah. We were touching the issues of the governments, universities, and industry, the triple helix things, but in defense, it's very important that we have end users, the armies. And the problem is that these sophisticated things are bought by the government to the soldiers. And usually the gesture is that here we have the new technology and you should use it. But in the most capable armies in the world, the procedure is the opposite. The army has combat experience, unfortunately, in some places of the world, and they can formulate their real-life needs. And this is the step number one. When everybody was talking about drones. The drone started with a fantastic boy with sparks, an Iraqi refugee Jewish boy, went to Israel. There was a new university, a flexible technological university, which was open for that. But the number one thing was a need because the Soviet air defense was so good that the Israelis couldn't use the Air Force for everything. Everybody used Air Force, but it was dangerous, a lot of losses. So they wanted to find something which is cheap and can produce in great quantities and something new because the SAM missiles were very good, you know. That's a real-life problem. And then the academia reacted to this with this sparking boy, and they developed the first prototype. And then the boy went bankrupt with the company because sparking boys cannot manage a for-profit company. The Americans came in, they bought up the company, and then the story started. So, and the big question for the audience is that why are we as armies are so weak to formulate our problems? And because we should take the driving seat in this thing and not the researchers. And I love the companies, but they are the servers of the armies and not the opposite.
I think your words are very clear and noted, and the message is clear. Rebranding defense through dual use is something that we need to continue working on that, towards that. Bringing industry closer to academia and the other way, but as far as I understand what you noted here, it should the industry make a bigger step in order to come closer to academia, because at the end of the day, we want to create, as our panel is called, best practices, so as to be able to provide and to present something successful. Mr. Mao, you wanted to say something about quantity and quality?
It's just about, we have a huge problem that is our inverted demographic pyramid. So we have a quantity problem and a quality problem. The quality problem is that the skills that we are training does not fit with the industry needs. Yeah, that's the quality problem. The skills and competence. The quantity problem is that we don't have people to come in the industry. I'll give you a figure that is in Portugal, but I believe that it is similar in the rest of Europe. Per each 100 people that we lost in active workers between 2010 and 2021, we just replaced 76 people. So we lost 24, and I believe that this is a Portuguese figure, and I believe that is similar in other countries of Europe. We are tackling that with immigration. It's a little bit better now, but so we need to be more efficient to manage our talent. But I would say we have to stop to talk about talent and to talk about competence and skills. In this PhD that we are developing, we found that there is very few library or scientific papers about competence model. So we are here about talking about talent, retain the talent, attract the talent. What talent? We don't have it. We don't have it in quantity. But as well, we need to understand another thing. we have to have the mindset of, the retaining mindset is, okay, I will retain these young guys 5 years, 6, 7 years, maybe 10 years maximum. So I will lose him or her. So what kind of competence, what kind of skills will I lose? How I can replace these competence and skills? Do I have internally? Or do I have to get externally? I'll give you an example. We made a study, a very open study in our company, that all the recruitment process that come to us, at least 50%, the companies didn't need the external recruitment process. They had it in-house, that knowledge. But companies are not aware of what they have in-house. And why? Because it is a very hand job work, it is very expensive, and in 1 year it will not be updated. So I think that we have to focus on competence and skills rather than talent, and to work to retain the change, let's say, because we'll have to manage the change and everything.
Please.
One very short addition to the colleague, that in the past 1.5 days we were talking about skill shortages. Yeah? And one professional area was not mentioned, namely that is the production engineering, the scaling up things. To make some 5 pieces of something which is high-tech is a beautiful thing, but later we need 10,000. And it's a separate profession, engineering profession, to know how do you make mass production from a beautiful piece of something. And that's a Western problem. We are not very strong in that, and that's a future homework we have to do according to the first experience of this war. When we ran out of ammunition in 3 months, it shouldn't be repeated in the future. So production engineering is very important as well.
So, thank you all for your comments. I think it's the time to open discussion to the audience. If there are any questions, please feel free. If not, good. Thank you again, gentlemen, for your insights. Hope you enjoyed our panel. I think there are only 2 left, so let's go, and thank you all. Wish you a nice day.
Thank you very much.
We're heading to the end. Dear Mr. Anselmo Martin Segovia from European Commission, DG DEFIS, Mr. Anastasios Rozolis, President of SEKPY, Mr. Stephanie Klaus, System Factory Director, Delegate Defense Angels Toulon, dear distinguished guests, honor attendees and friends, as we draw now to the close of the second European skills in the EU defense ecosystem, allow me to express my gratitude to each one of you for making this event a resounding success. Over the past 2 days, we have explored the critical challenges and opportunities that lie before us in the realm of the defense-related skills. We have shared ideas, learned from one another's experience, and forged stronger connections across borders. And most importantly, we have reaffirmed our shared commitment to ensuring that the European defense ecosystem is equipped with the skills, or we make a wish to equip with the skills and talent that it needs to thrive in an ever-changing global landscape. This conference has been a true testament to the power of collaboration. I want to thank, first of all, Mr. Rozolis, the president of SEKPY. I know that I was trying to avoid this to ask me to moderate this conference. I know he heard me as a singer. He knows me as a business collaborator, but never as a moderator. And also to thank the European Commission and the European Network of Defense-related regions for their invaluable partnership, as well as all the speakers, the panelists, and attendees who have enriched this discussion with their insights and their perspectives. Further on, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the Concert Hall of Thessaloniki for their exceptional hospitality and for providing us with such an inspiring venue that has truly elevated the experience of this conference. Additionally, we are deeply grateful to the ministries for their steadfast support and collaboration, which have been invaluable in making this event possible. A special word of appreciation goes to those who work tirelessly behind the scenes for many, many weeks, probably months, to plan and prepare every detail of this conference. Mr. Novaros and his team, and all your personal dedication that ensure its seamless execution, and we are truly grateful for your efforts. As we conclude, I'm pleased to announce that our journey does not end here, and it is my privilege to renew our rendezvous on for the third European Conference in Skills in the EU Defense Ecosystem, which will take place the coming April 2025 in Toulon, France. And I'm confident that this next edition will build on the momentum we have created here and continue to push forward our shared agenda for a stronger and more resilient European defense sector. Until then, let us keep the conversations alive, the collaborations growing, and the progress moving forward. Thank you once again for your participation, your contributions, and for your commitment. Thank you very much. Rendezvous in France. After that, there is a networking session outside. When you go outside, where is the area we had the lunch on the left side of this. We have the opportunity for a business-to-business meeting, enjoy a coffee, discussion, and thank you very much. I tried to make your, the conference a little bit lighter, okay? So have a nice trip back, flight. For those who will stay in Thessaloniki, let's have some fun. The weather is fantastic. Thanks.